Alright my friends, how you all doing? And welcome back to the Irons United channel, and today it's your boy Dan, aka Fandango, bringing to you an opposition report. This is something we're going to try and put out for each match day. We're going to try and talk about the opposition so you guys know what's coming at you each and every match week. But I hope you're enjoying the content on the channel. Continue to be smashing the crap out of that subscribe button. If you haven't done so as well, go check out my channel. All the links will be in the description. This is obviously, you know, Irons United. This channel I've got going with the lads is obviously West Ham based, but if you want something that's a bit more, you know, football in general based, that's what I do. So make sure you go and check that out. But today we're going to talk about Liverpool versus West Ham. We travel to Anfield tomorrow, a 1:30 kickoff. If you're not going to the game, you can catch it live on Sky Sports, so try and do so. And we're going to try and talk about Liverpool and maybe how West Ham can hurt them in the game. Now, as far as the record is concerned, we don't have the best record against Liverpool. We never have done, especially at Anfield. Last season, 2-4-1 defeats, you know, at the hands of them. Mo Salah absolutely destroyed us on both occasions. He absolutely loved it, didn't he, stay at the office, playing West Ham last year. But, you know, the last 5 games, we can take a look at that. You can see 2 losses from last season. And then before that, a 4-0, you know, defeat to Liverpool at the Olympic Stadium, a 2-2, and then there was a 2-0 all the way back in 2016. That's the last time we beat them. We actually did the double over Liverpool that season. Obviously memorable for obvious reasons. But when I say that, doing the double over them, that's the last time that we beat them at Anfield, and was the first time I believe we'd beat them at Anfield in 45 or 46 years or something. So we clearly don't have a good record, you know, up north in Liverpool against the club. Now, they obviously dominate the stats as far as meetings are concerned. The two clubs have met 44 times in the Premier League, and West Ham have only won on 9 occasions. So if we're looking at the stats, they're not stacked in our favour, are they? But let's take a look at Liverpool and what they've done in the closed season. So, you know, transfer window, they've basically, in my opinion, plugged all the gaps that they needed to. Didn't have the best goalkeeper. I think they maybe panicked a little, and you know they did pay £60-odd million for Alisson. But from what I've read, from what people have told me, they're happy with that signing. They think that he could be the next, you know, big thing as far as goalkeepers are concerned in the world. Been compared to David De Gea, so you know that's high praise for the young man. So that's good. That's something that Liverpool needed. You know, their back four is relatively the same. I still think that needed work. Personally, I think they needed a better centre back to play next to Van Dijk. I don't think Lovren is the world-class defender that he seems to think he is. Slightly deluded after World Cup performances maybe, but he's not going to be available for tomorrow's game anyway. Then you come to the midfield, and that's where the work's been done. They've brought in Fabinho from Monaco, and they've brought in Keita from I can't bloody remember their name now. Red Bull in Germany, anyway. Leipzig, is it? They brought him in from there. A lot of money spent on both players, you know, 100 million pretty much for the two. So, you know, Liverpool have splashed the cash in this window. They've not been scared to, but nothing needed to be doing, you know, up top. They had one of the most phenomenal front three in world football last year, and I fully expect them to be just as deadly this season. And my thinking behind that as well is, you know, that front three are going to be just as deadly because they've had a season together. If you could think about what they did last year, they're probably going to do the same against this year. I do think that because of Mo Salah's performances last year as well, we should not be man-marking him out of the game, because it just opens doors and avenues for Mane and for Firmino to score more goals this season. I think a lot of clubs are going to be guilty of that, and I'd like to see West Ham just basically try to contain all 3 players. I know that's difficult, especially with, you know, Pellegrini opting to play 4 at the back, but this is why Rice playing defensive midfield is going to have to drop in. I think that Mark Noble's going to have to drop back as well, leave Wilshere to dictate the tempo going forward in the midfield. I think that's, you know, one of the only ways we're going to be able to combat maybe this front three. Talking of the 2 centre midfield signings though, they are excellent signings on Liverpool's part and make them a better football team. You've got Fabinho, who naturally sits in and is a holding player, and I think they've needed you know, a player in his mould for a long, long time, Liverpool, to be able to move forward. At times last season, they were opened up at the back. They brought in Van Dijk in January. Their defence got better over the course of the season, but up until then, letting a lot of silly goals against, you know, teams that were relatively smaller than them and teams they should have been beating. So they've been guilty of that in the past. But Fabinho shores up the midfield, and then you bring in Keita as well. a combative box-to-box midfielder, was doing sensational stuff in Germany, and that's why Liverpool paid 50-odd million for the player. They see something that they like in him, and he really could be a difference maker. He could be the one that takes that ball from back to front. He could win a few free kicks. He's got an eye for goal as well. Could be dangerous in the centre of midfield. And, you know, Liverpool now, when you look at them on paper, are a very, very hard team to beat, a hard team to contain. I know that their league position last season didn't suggest that they'd move forward, because I do believe the year before they'd finished higher up, but a Champions League final, you know, I personally think that means they have moved forward. You know, you can afford to drop back a little in the league if you get into the, you know, most prestigious final in European football at the end of the day. Yes, they lost against Real Madrid, but it's baby steps, it's stepping stones. Eventually, they could get there, in my opinion. I think this team, you know, is slowly really turning into one of the forces of the Premier League. And for me, I've got Manchester City winning it, but I think Liverpool are going to be a very, very close second. And should Man City slip up this season, Liverpool could jump in there and nick it and maybe win the Premier League. The first time of doing so in God knows how long. I'm sure all Liverpool fans will be keeping their fingers crossed and hoping for it. Obviously, we know that Liverpool are, you know, a very possession-based team, but are just as deadly on the counter-attack. And these are two areas that I think West Ham are going to have to look out for. I don't think we can afford to sit back and let Liverpool dictate it, because they're very good on the football. And when you've got players, you know, in the mould of Salah, Firmino and Mane, very quick, will, you know, bust the gut up each wing. Firmino loves to do the running behind, balls over the top. They've got the players to do it. We're going to have to be very careful. We cannot be sitting back for 60, 70 minutes of this game, soaking it up and hoping to take something from it. Also, like I've already said, counter-attack. You've got to watch Liverpool's counter-attack. It's all well and good, Pellegrini saying, yeah, he's going to go for it, but we've got to be careful when we do so. It's going to have to be very, very patient. We're going to have to make sure we don't leave the door open as well for balls over the top. We don't have the fastest centre-backs, but I think that if Frederick starts at right back, then you've got some pace there. Maybe he can help with the cover. Now, how do West Ham beat Liverpool in this game? That's the biggest question I guess everybody's asking, because Liverpool have improved. Very good football team, like to control it, and will hurt you on the counter-attack. But I think that's where the option lies for West Ham. I think if you look at the additions that we've brought in the window, and you look at some of the players we've got from last season, there's something that we have up top now, and that's an abundance of pace, and that's something that West Ham have not had in a long time. Also, you've got a brain in the centre midfield now. We have not had that in a long time. We've had you know, midfielders that just kind of bumble through games and just kind of make the most of bad situations. But now I do actually think that we've got a bit of a footballing genius in Wilshere, who will dictate the tempo, will spray passes out wide and look after the football a bit more. You know, a lot of the time we've had midfielders that go for the champagne pass, give the ball away, and then we're opened and you know, susceptible to a counter-attack, or teams building from the back and really hurting us. You know, our defence has not been great. We're going to have to tighten up at the back, but if we do that and can, you know, win the ball back, press high, win and, you know, counter-attack, that's where, you know, the chances are going to open up for us. Got Anderson down one wing, Yarmolenko up the other, and a very in-form Marko Arnautovic through the middle. There's a potential for us to score some goals against this team. But that is it, my friends. It's a very quick, you know, opposition report. They're a dangerous team, are Liverpool. I'm going to give you my score prediction because I've done it on my channel. I am actually leaning towards a 2-0 win to Liverpool, but if we can, you know, hit them on the counter-attack and maybe fashion some chances, there will be no surprise should we score a goal. I know a lot of the lads are going with, you know, 2-1 Liverpool or 2-2s. It'd be nice to see, but whether or not we do is yet to be seen. But my friends, fingers crossed for tomorrow. Big game. We don't win at Anfield very often. Let's hope we do so. But that is it, my friends, from today. So make sure, if you're a new viewer to the channel, you like, share and subscribe. Make sure you're checking out all the other content on this channel. But until next week, I've been Dan. You've been Legends. See you all later.